The late Alex Trebek was a part of our lives for just about as long as we can remember. In fact, most millennials and all post-millennials knew him as the host of Jeopardy for their entire lives, since he had that gig since 1984. And we'll get to enjoy him at work for a little longer, since Jeopardy's producers say new episodes shot before Trebek's passing will air through December. Trebek, who passed away at age 80 from pancreatic cancer on November 8, 2020, will be sorely missed. But not just for his genial game show host persona, or even his charity work via the Trebek Family Foundation. Where he made perhaps his greatest impact was with the courageous way he faced up to his cancer diagnosis and even demystified his terminal disease by keeping all of us in the loop.
I will keep doing it as long as my skills do not diminish, and they have started to diminish.
Trebek received the diagnosis in March of 2019 and somehow managed to continue working despite undergoing incredibly painful chemotherapy. While it seemed he was on the mend by last summer and released a short video about how he was looking forward to season 37, Trebek's remission proved to be a short one. Trebek did make it through the season, however, continuing his treatment throughout the quarantine period and releasing an optimistic video in July, as well as telling Good Morning America that he'd be undergoing an experimental new treatment. Through it all, Trebek kept on working, filming Jeopardy episodes through October 29th. In fact, the beloved host told the New York Times in July that although he was feeling unwell during his chemotherapy treatments in the summer, resuming taping for Jeopardy actually made him feel stronger. Oddly enough, when we started taping, I suddenly started to regain my strength. It's the strangest thing. It is some kind of elixir. Also in July, Trebek published a book called The Answer Is: Reflections on My Life. This memoir was written after his cancer diagnosis, so he's pretty candid in it that he probably doesn't have much longer to live. One question he tackles is that of how he'd like people to think of him after he's gone. Trebek wrote, "I'd like to be remembered first of all as a good and loving husband and father, and also as a decent man who did his best to help people perform at their best." There's no question he achieved those goals. His wife Jean and his kids all cite him as an important influence in their lives, as well as an amazing dad. Trebek also shared a close relationship with all-time Jeopardy champ Ken Jennings, and Jennings and other Jeopardy champs have been posting heartfelt tributes on social media as they grieve over his passing. Perhaps the one Jeopardy champ Trebek influenced the most long before they even met was Burt Thacker. Thacker, who moved to the US from India at age 8, credited the game show with helping him learn English as a child. We'll take role models for 400, Alex. In Trebek's memoir, he did vent a tiny bit about the injustice of having to end his time on Earth in lockdown due to the coronavirus, writing, "Here I am wanting to enjoy what might be the last of my days, and what? I'm supposed to just stay at home and sit in a chair and stare into space? Actually, that doesn't sound too bad. Yep, I'll be perfectly content if that's how my story ends. Sitting on the swing with the woman I love, my soulmate, and our 2 wonderful children nearby." And that is pretty much how things played out. On the morning of November 8th, the account for the quiz show tweeted, "Jeopardy is saddened to share that Alex Trebek passed away peacefully at home early this morning, surrounded by family and friends. Thank you, Alex." While we don't like that final answer, we're grateful for all the time we had with Mr. Trebek. His last Jeopardy episode, set to air on December 25th, is one present that will need to come wrapped with a few boxes of tissues.